Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to another little video. I'm gonna do another little makeup video because I feel like you guys have been really liking them and I like doing them. I just woke up, did my morning routine, went to the gym. I've really been loving doing that. And I just thought that we could hang out a little bit and do our makeup, telling TikToks. I have a TikTok so you guys can go over there and subscribe and also watch some of the other little videos I do. It's really a whole job in itself to balance 20 platforms, I feel like, but I do find it fun. But I was telling them how I got these two new products for my hair, which I don't really feel like I talk much about hair care, but I probably should because I know my girls out there want to know what I do with my hair and what's working. And my mom is also a hairdresser, so I feel like slightly biased, but she kind of knows what's up. So I've also been using the Shark to blow my hair out, and I used it today to just give myself a little whimsical little blowout. Thought I would kind of do like a little everyday get ready with me makeup tutorial, and you guys can hang out with me and watch along. Loving a regular Keurig coffee, which I know, don't yell at me about the pods. I'm trying to be like a lot more healthier, which I mean, I'm a pretty healthy person and I'm very into wellness. So I know that the plastic in it is not good. I'm trying to get my hands on some type of machine. I used to have one, a coffee machine that has the, what is it called? Like the handheld where you put the actual ground beans inside of the machine, because I know that that'll be obviously better for our bodies. But I actually just found this coffee from one of the girls that I follow on TikTok, and it's a clean coffee brand and it's called Purity. Ow, I'm getting a cramp. Ow, I rebuke you in Jesus' name. Okay. You guys, there's power in the name of Jesus. Ow, you know when you get those like stabbing pains, like shooting pains? Okay, anywho, speak Jesus over yourself, it works. Anyways, this is my whole new thing, a little coffee hunt, like a healthier coffee, because I love coffee in the morning and like drinking it while I read my Bible and stuff like that, but I obviously want to make sure it's like healthy. Speaking of health, let's just talk about it for a sec. Also, let me just get my concealer on while I talk to you about it. We are going to use the Born This Way multi-use sculpt and work with that. But anyways, yeah, so I've obviously been a very interested person in health and wellness. It's just something I genuinely have such a heart for, and I just think it's just so fun to research. Like, I'm low-key a nerd and I just like look stuff up about the body and like functional medicine, and people have asked me like why I haven't gone into the field. I'm still so young. I feel like I definitely could if I wanted to, but in the meantime I'm just researching all on my own. I feel like it gives me a sense of control, and not that I need that, but just more like, obviously it's important to know like what we're putting in our bodies and how it affects us and our mood. And I'm just so into beauty and health. I just think it all goes hand in hand. It makes me feel amazing. So I've really been loving my infrared sauna that I have at my house that is like kind of like a DIY. It's a red light mask from Amazon that I got for Christmas, that I've been wishing and wanting for, that I got for Christmas. I'm just wondering if it really truly works, but what I gained from the knowledge of researching the things that I was looking up was that it works if you're consistent with it. And I haven't been too consistent with the red light mask, mainly and solely because of the fact that I have to sit in front of it for like 25 minutes after I do my whole routine, and I find it kind of like getting in the way in a sense. But like, I obviously want to find like a pocket of time in the day to like sit there and do that, but maybe I have to do it after. But the problem is I like to like do it without makeup on, and I get ready for my day. So what I've been thinking about is this red light mask, but I'm just like wondering if it's really worth it. So if you use a red light mask for your face, let me know if it's worth it. I mean, I know people like it. I just don't know if it's like worth the money, like worth the buck. I also look a lot lighter than I normally am, but it all works. And I feel like that's the beauty of makeup. Also, I'm not doing a really heavy look, although it may look it. I'm not. This is just kind of something I do to make me feel fresh and rejuvenated and just a lot better about myself. Care of yourself is just like truly loving yourself, and I find little ways to take care of myself through doing my makeup, my skincare. So what I wanted to talk about today, amongst a couple of other things that we're already talking about, by the way, I'm using the Glowgasm by Charlotte Tilbury in the shade Pinkasm. I really don't like the name of these. I think they're weird, but I have to say it to tell you. So anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to stay true and authentic to yourself, especially as a Christian, especially as someone loving Jesus in such a time in a life as this, where probably maybe people aren't standing up for things like that. And I kind of just want to share with you guys a little bit of my experience and how that's gone, you know, how it's gone, and how you can truly stay true to yourself and not mold yourself into someone else when you're around other people that may be like highly influential. So like I know what it's like. I know what it's like to not feel grounded, and I don't know about you, but sometimes I would leave conversations and crowds of people in college or high school, or even honestly now, where I would just start to feel like I'm not being myself. Like I would catch myself being around people and then molding to what they want me to be out of them wanting to like me. So obviously it comes down to a root of people pleasing. I'm just gonna take a little of the Anastasia brow gel and put my eyebrows up a little bit. My friend at work says he doesn't like my eyebrows like this. Although you have to do what works for you. I like the laminated look. I mean, I guess I'm trying not to go so crazy with it, but I like a nice little, like, just a little, you know? Like, I feel like it, I don't know, makes, maybe not. You guys tell me. I mean, I like it. I feel like you have to kind of do what you like, but I'm open for opinions. No, I was saying that I know what it's like to want to mold into, like, a different person when you're around other people, because of the fear of like being, I guess, secluded and different. But the truth of the matter is when you walk with Jesus, you're going to be different. Like you're just gonna stand out. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. So when I was in college, like my first year, I decided I wanted to wait until marriage to sleep with the person that I was gonna marry. And that was a very, very taboo and like weird thing to do, especially at that time. I feel like now there's like a lot more like talk about Christianity and Jesus, and like we can see that there's a lot more leaders and younger girls like choosing, you know, that decision. But back when I was, you know, 4 years ago in college, it was not popular to do that. It was just like I hadn't met anyone else doing it besides me. And that's no judgment to anyone else, but that was just a decision that I was choosing because of what Jesus and the Bible says. And honestly, I wanted to, because I was finding worth in myself, and I was like thinking to myself, you know, I don't want someone to just have all of me until marriage. And to be truthfully honest, like I am such an emotional, sensitive person. To give somebody my whole body and that vulnerable side of me just truly made me, like I was in something, I guess we're going there, but in high school I was in this like situationship where like this person basically didn't really want to be with me fully, and it really hurt me because it started to make me question my worth. And I just for a long time wish I knew what I knew now, but of course you learn. But I just wasn't being the type of person that I wished I was, and I was just giving myself so freely to this person and emotionally like giving him my like just emotions and like everything, when he shouldn't have had that at all, because he wasn't showing me at all that he even wanted to be with me, you know, even in public. And it was just like a very messy situation that really hurt my self-confidence and my worth in myself. And I didn't realize that the whole time it wasn't even about him, it was about me and my self-worth, and me choosing that I was so freely giving him certain things of myself that he didn't have to earn or work for, and he wasn't giving me like anything and I was just getting hurt and hurt over and over and over, and my heart was just being bled out because I was not guarding my heart like Jesus says. I was not protecting my heart, and I thought that if I gave myself to somebody that he would love me more, but it was the whole opposite. It was not that at all. It made me hurt worse. And honestly, this is just like a talk about even purity. Like, that is when my purity journey with Jesus started to change, and I started to notice that after I made that decision to give my life to the Lord and surrender my life to him, I became someone who wanted and so deeply desired purity with Jesus. And so purity is not in just the way that you look, but it's a heart posture, and it's on the inside. And so Jesus was giving me a deep desire to want to be pure. I'm just gonna go in again a little bit with the Mario Badescu blush and raspberry. But yeah, so Jesus was giving me a desire to be pure and purity and pursue purity and chase it. And so, you know, that came with such a struggle at first because I was dying to the flesh. I was dying to the world. I was being stripped. I was not pertaining in any sexual acts. I was not watching porn. I'm just being honest. I was being stripped of all of the things that I had known growing up that was normal. My language started to change. I stopped swearing. I used to swear all the time. Like in high school, I would just say like F, 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 or like the B word, like, or SHIT. Like, I just used to swear all the time, had such like profound language, but I didn't even like realize that it was bad until I started to walk with Jesus and read my Bible. And then I was like amongst certain people and I would hear the word and my whole body, you guys, it still does, would like tense up and like I wanted to like throw up. Like, I was like, ew, like I couldn't even hear it anymore. So that started to change from the music I was listening to, because if you guys know me, I literally, like, if you asked like my high school friends, I loved like Fetty Wap. Like, I literally was like, loved trap music. And you know, I'm not judging myself, but I know that like these things are hard to break free from because we love them. But to be completely honest, as you read the Bible and you start getting wiser and the Holy Spirit dwells inside of you, you recognize that the music you're listening to and the things you're listening to are either bringing you closer to Jesus or they're bringing you closer to Satan. And that is just the bottom line truth, because and there's life and death in the power of the tongue. And that is so important because we have to be cautious of what we're allowing our ears and our eyes to see. And this is where the purity journey started to come. And God was stripping me of these things, but I actually was desiring them. I didn't want to anymore participate in sexual sin. I didn't want to anymore participate in fornicating, watching porn, swearing, all of these things that I was so accustomed to that I would do just so naturally because I was living in the world and I had no idea. But once I started to walk freely in the Bible with what Jesus was saying to do and all that stuff, it started to do a deep work inside of me. And I honestly used to be such an attention seeker. Like, I truly, truly was. And I don't say that with any shame because, like, I didn't know God. I didn't know. I was just getting a high and a fix off of attention from men, attention from peers. I mean, people pleasing was just like me to a T. I'm still dying to it, but I genuinely would post certain stuff that I knew was going to get me attention. Like, I know that we all do this, but Jesus always saw my heart because God does see the heart. And so Jesus was obviously searching my heart. I was, you know, asking him to search my heart, and I just recognized I had to take that action in myself and be like, okay, if I want to be holy and pure, like Jesus says, and purified and like him, and I don't want to have thoughts of lust, and I don't want to have these intrusive thoughts or temptations, then I obviously have a part to take in this. And to be completely honest, I could blame other people all day if I wanted to, but I had to take that accountability for myself, drop my pride, be humble before the Lord, and just tell him that I liked the attention and the validation I got through boys and other people. And I had to just be honest with him. And yeah, that could have been scary because you know, I'm like being so open and honest, but God already knows anyways. And I think what makes us scared is that we feel like we have so much shame, which doesn't come from Jesus, it comes from the devil. But there's no shame in saying to Jesus, he already knows anyways, that this is how you feel. Like, God, I feel like I want validation through other people, like Instagram likes or Instagram followers. There was a time where I was consumed by not having enough followers. I was consumed by like comparing myself to people who had more followers than me, and my worth was being put in that. And I was consumed by you know, if I didn't have as many boys in my DMs as someone else, that I wasn't worthy of. And because I lived my life like that for so long and living for the approval of other people, I was being stripped, and now I needed Jesus to fill that, and I needed to learn to depend on only God and only Jesus's opinion of me. And it changed my whole life, because I used to, yeah, of course, I wasn't posting like thirst traps, but I definitely was doing things like posing certain ways, and like I knew what I was doing, posting bikini pics, like posting my body and showing my body off. And there's just a difference between the heart posture of somebody who puts on a dress and stands in front of someone versus somebody whose heart posture is seductive and like wanting attention and insecurity. And I know that because I used to be like that, and now I'm so much more secure in myself that I don't need the validation from men. And I had to cut it off. Like, I had to cut my right arm off. I had to call myself higher. I had people call me higher. But I knew in my heart that the Lord was doing this. And one thing I will say is give yourself so much grace. Like, truly, there were some people who didn't give me grace, and that sucked, because I already was aware of my shortcomings and I knew God wanted to like change it with me, but it just was taking time. I was dying to it, and I wish certain people were giving me more grace. So I just want you to know that I am not judging you if you are like me. I mean, society puts this immense amount of pressure on you to become and be this perfect person. You probably don't even want to do that. You're just doing it because everybody else is. And so I see your heart. It's not always because that's not who you are anyways. Jesus is chasing you down, and he wants to make you pure and holy. You're just probably doing it because you've probably not felt loved the right way. You probably don't know what unconditional love is, or feeling worthy is, or you probably don't know what it's like for someone not to love you without your body. But I want to be here as a testimony to you that, like, I truly, there's no better feeling than you not having to post yourself half naked or having to put yourself out there in that way to get validation. Because once you find it in Jesus, you don't feel like you have to prove it. And once you start posting things that truly matter, like your personality, the things that you love, like, I don't know, just things that make you you, your outfits even, without having to be seductive. Like, and people comment on that and they think, like, you know, I'm not saying you need validation from them, but there's a new community that you find. And I'm gonna be completely raw and honest with you. Men respect it. Like, a man of God is gonna respect that. He's not respecting you if he's seeing your body half naked. I'm just being honest with you. I know that might offend you, but this is the truth about what people saw in me. The guys in your DMs are the guys that you're attracting, because that's what you're posting and putting out there. So if you see a pattern of the same men, the same people over and over again in your DMs, heart eyes and fire emojis, and it's the same type of guy, or you're dating the same type of guy over and over again, it might be because it's you who needs to change, and it's the person you're attracting or the same types of people because that's what you're putting out there. And I didn't know that deep down, I didn't even want someone like that. I don't want someone to just love me on a surface level. I want someone to love me for who I am and for my heart. But how are they going to get to know it if all I do is post my body because I'm insecure? So that's when a purity journey started going for me, and it is the most freeing thing, you guys. And it's not an overnight process. I will say that. It's not an overnight process, but it is a process. And I do really hope that you gain something from that, because the way I feel so loved and the way I feel so seen by God and the way that I have such a confidence about me, because I don't have to post like that and I don't have to have validation anymore. Like, it was a fight. I had to fight for it. I had to fast off social media for a while. I had to cut my right arm off. I had to get off of the platform all in itself, because it was really hard for me to, I struggled with comparison. I struggled with discontentment. Like, I struggled with all of these things, and these are things I still have to find myself cutting off my right arm if, you know, if there's days I wake up and I don't feel secure because of who I am. I have to quickly remind myself every day of who Jesus is within me. And we are not gonna ever arrive until we are in heaven, but there's definitely disciplines, spiritual disciplines that we can learn as we get older. Not even older, but the more that we spend time with Jesus, that he will you'll quickly recognize it and have the authority in Christ. Like, I didn't know I had authority in Christ to speak over myself. I didn't know I had authority at all. I just thought my thoughts were my thoughts and that was it. But God gives us authority over those. Like, we're able to say out loud or think different thoughts and take every thought captive and pray over our thoughts and our mind and our bodies to be different, to be changed. And I didn't want to be like that anymore. And Jesus knew, so he always fought on my behalf. And I know he's fighting on your behalf because I know that you want to be loved and seen for who you are, not just what you look like, not just what you are. I know you want your boyfriend or the person you're with to see you and love you, but the truth is sometimes that's not the case. They're not going to see you and love you because they only have a one vision thing. And don't even get me started if you tell them you're not going to have sex with them, because now they're just going to be like, well, no, it's not even worth it. If that's the case, my girl, you need to run the other way and be like, listen, I'm way too worthy of. But the thing is you might not feel that. And so that's why this journey with God is so much deeper than just, you know, God bless you, like, I love you, God. And you can be saved, you can know who Jesus is, but that doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily have the life that he desired for you to have on this earth, because the truth of the matter is you have a desire, you have a destiny on this earth. There's a literal purpose why you're here, and you may not think that there is because you just go and clock into work every day, but there is a destiny of why you're here. Like, you were literally put here for a purpose, by Jesus, on purpose, for something bigger than you. And that's your purpose. And your purpose is to know God and love God, and then to show other people the love of Christ and what he's done with you. And that's just there's so much, and then there's so much more else that he has between you guys, like the things that you love in your heart and the things that you desire. But you first have to go through a sanctifying process. You have to want to desire even these types of things and pray for these types of things and pray over yourself and pray over your mind. Recognize, I think the first thing is just being honest and humble and transparent about where you're at. And that might be the hardest part, is just like being raw and honest with Jesus that you feel this way. But I want to let you know, whenever you start to think that, just think of me. I felt the same way. And you could be putting me on a pedestal, like, how could she ever be insecure? How could she ever struggle with that? Well, I live in the world just like you, and I have struggles just like you, if not maybe more. Like, of course I've struggled with self-image. My own thoughts were basically bringing me down for a huge amount of my life. So think of it like that. I had perfectionism problems where I always had to be perfect. I had things where I always just wanted to be, you know, I was hard on myself, extremely hard on myself. I played sports growing up, so I felt like I always had to perform to be loved and seen. And it's not like that. It doesn't have to be like that. You're enough under Jesus. Like, he says you are enough, and you are enough for him. You don't have to perform for his love. You just are loved. You just have to receive his love. And that might be hard for you because you've never had anyone love you so deeply. You've never had anyone love you that way. But once you start to experience the love of Christ, you start to see the difference in other people's love. You see if a man is loving you just for those types of things. And to be quite frank, you don't even want a man to love you for those types of things. Whenever I saw a guy approach me and try to hit on me or ask me out, and this is no hate to anyone, I love everybody, but I can and I do have the will to say no. Like, if someone says, can I have your number? And I'm like, not just judging them off of first thing, but if I know their Instagram is already like thirst traps, and I heard that, you know, they went out with this one, and that, like, I just know that that's probably not going to work out, because that's not going to be God's best. I mean, use discernment in that. Like, I'm not saying that that person can't be the person for you, because I don't know God's will. I don't know. People change, and God radically changes people's hearts and stuff like that over time. But I'm obviously not going to put myself in a position to get hurt, because that person just wants one thing, and their values don't align with my values. Like, they don't see me for who I am. They're seeing me for my body. But the minute that you stop putting that out there and you start to put the things out there that truly matter to you, so I share my faith, I try to help girls. I will say it gets pretty quiet. Like there's crickets in the DMs. Like there's no guys sliding up in my DMs, like unless they're saying like God bless you, you know. But like there's no one in my DMs because I'm not putting that out there. I'm not showing my body, and I have all the right to. I have an amazing body. I have the look. I could very well put myself out there for that. I could show myself off like I used to. I don't need to anymore. I don't want to anymore. And I pray that that honestly gives you an encouragement to also want to have, I want my story to encourage you that you're not alone and that Jesus can do what he did with me with you, and you can feel so free of that. And let me tell you, like the way that I'm respected, like my boyfriend, he is so sweet, you guys. He loves me so much. And I'm gonna give you a little secret, and he says I can share this because it shows the glory of God. We decided together that we are not sleeping together until marriage. And you guys, I can't even tell you like the way that I feel with this man. Like I am so blessed. Like God knows, it's such, I have not given him the most vulnerable side of me, and he still loves me. If not, he just loves me more. Like he just respects it. He finds that beautiful about me. He's like, you're wifey, like you're a wife. Like I am actually, that was the first thing he was drawn to. I laid it out flat, straight. Like when we first started talking, I was like, listen, I am not sleeping with you. If you think that's what we're doing, I'm not gonna be with you. And that was my standard. And that's not too much. You are not too much because you say that. You are a child of God. You have worth. Like, do you know who you are? Like, you are a child of God. Like, you literally have so much worth. Your body's so precious. You don't just give that to someone. And I'm not saying you have to feel any shame, but I'm saying you can redecide that you don't want to give your body to anyone anymore like that. They don't get to just have you so freely, because what comes with that is so much emotion, so much messiness. Like, sex is beautiful. God created it for beautiful. He created everything about it, but he did create it in the covenant of marriage, and he created it so that way there's a security blanket around that. Meaning, like in marriage, when you guys have a house, when you guys have, you know, parameters and financial freedom, possibly, like you're able to like if you get pregnant, like you can then, you know, be able to have the child, at least you have a home. Like if, you know, maybe you guys have sex and it's a little bit awkward, he's not going to leave you tomorrow. Like, we're not meant to be left after you do that with someone. We were never meant to give ourselves to people freely anyways. We were meant to give ourselves to one person and one person only, and that is our husbands. And he's also supposed to only see our bodies the way so nakedly that they are. It's only meant for one man. Like, I would rather my husband respect me and only get to have all of me versus 100 men get to see all of my body and not respect me. Like, that's the difference. That's why it's worth it. I would rather him see, you know, get to have me so freely as a, you know, under the covenant of marriage, versus him get to basically just see everything about me and then decide if he likes it or not. I mean that made me feel lousy when that happened. I don't care what you say, because girl to girl, I'm just saying, I've seen it, I know it, it's girl talk. Like, I don't care what you say. You can wake up after, you know, you guys have done whatever, and you guys, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, and you wake up, and you did whatever, and you feel so lousy about yourself. And I don't care if you tell me that you don't. Deep down, you know that you just gave someone a part of you that is so crucial, and if they don't text you, they don't call you, they don't even want to hang out with you, like, you're gonna tell me that you're not bothered by that? Of course you're bothered by that. Anyone would be bothered by that, because you're not just a piece of meat. You are a worthy, beautiful woman. But the thing is society tries to make you feel different. But Jesus, if you listen to him and you follow his commands, he can redeem everything, and you can start to find that worth in yourself. And I'm telling you, like, it's so beautiful, and you do find respect from that. I can't tell you how many people, I've not met one person who I've told that to, that I'm waiting till marriage, who's never looked at me and thought, well, there's definitely been people who are like, well, that's strange, but not one guy have I met who's like, that's weird. Like, truly, I mean, maybe this has happened with other people, but like most guys think that that's attractive. Like, they're like, oh, like, wow, what's making her not want to give herself to me so freely? Like, I can't just have her. They look like you just are like more marriage material. Because then there's the thing, how did I get to this, honestly? A little bronzer on my nose, But then there's the thing where people live together with each other for like 4 or 5 years, and I'm trying to be very cautious because I know people listening might, you know, have done that or been doing that, and I don't want anyone to feel shame right now. So God, I pray that you would just cover that. But I know that there's certain people who've lived together, or they choose to, and then they end up being so like dependent on doing all of the things without a ring on your finger. And why? Like, you're literally a whole wife without the commitment. Like, why? Like, he should commit to you. Like, if he wants to, he would. And I just think it's because of what we allow them to do, and I think it all stems with worth. And I just want to be very sensitive to this because I know exactly how that feels, and I don't want you to feel like, you know, you're unworthy right now. I just am so sensitive to this because I know that Jesus can redeem everything. I know that if you're living with someone right now and you're feeling that conviction over you, Jesus can redeem. He turns everything around for good. So it's very possible for him to turn it all around for the goodness of God. But maybe you're about to go move in with someone and you're feeling like, I don't really want to do that. Like, it can become messy. It's like you get a dog, and then you get like all these different types of like furniture and all this stuff, and you guys are basically like you're joining your lives together, but you're not married yet. And so there's just so much messiness that comes with that. And the take I have on it about people saying, well, how are you supposed to live with somebody if you don't know how they live? It's really beautiful how the Bible puts marriage and living together, because I don't believe that you depend your love on someone if they leave, you know, the kitchen dirty, or they leave their clothes out by accident, and then you see how they live and you just wipe up and leave because of it. Like, to me, that is not love. And that's what the Bible puts so perfectly. You don't just get to, like, I would feel so low about myself if someone was basically evaluating me to see how I lived, because we're all flawed. We're all gonna have flaws, and we're gonna do stuff that is not gonna make each other happy. Like, your husband and your wife, or your boyfriend and your girlfriend, you're gonna bother each other because you're human. And I would never want to put my value into someone who, you know, leaves things on the floor, and I want to leave them, because that would make me feel pretty lousy if the reason that someone left me was because I was a little bit disorganized. And that's not to say that you guys can't work on stuff, but together, you and your husband can choose that you're not going to leave each other despite the things that you guys have flaws about. And that's what the Bible puts so perfectly. He says, what God has put together, let no man set apart. No man take that apart. And I just think that's so beautiful, because it changed my perspective on marriage. And when you're committing to someone for the rest of your life, I mean, you're committing to their good and you're committing to their bad. But the truth is everybody has bad. It's just, who do you want to do life with in that way? And that's why you get to choose the person, and then you live together. And that way, you know, if things go wrong, you know that they're not gonna leave you, or you know that you're gonna like feel more secure in that. I promise you, it's what all girls want. They just don't know. So I didn't know either, and I'm here to just tell you, because in high school, I remember my mom being like, you're gonna wait till marriage, right? And then I was like, no, like, that's weird, like, you know? But it's not, you guys, and I'm here to tell you as a 23-year-old that it's not weird, and it's very beautiful. So I got this new blush. It's like a very baby pink. I really want to get my hands on the baby shade in the Say blush, but I went and looked and they were sold out. They're like sold out everywhere. So this is like an e.l.f. dupe, but it's honestly a third of the price. So it's really pretty. It's in the shade, did I tell you the shade yet? I don't even know what shade it's in. Oh my gosh, there's like no shade name. But it's the Putty e.l.f. blush, and if you look, it's like the first one, and it looks baby pink. It's pretty. I don't know if I'm crazy about the consistency yet, but I do like the way that it goes on and looks. So yeah, I'm really just loving blush. Obviously, I feel like I always do blush, but oh, I got this, I got the Charlotte Tilbury setting powder. I want to try it with you guys on. Went to the outlets with Nick yesterday, and we went and got some stuff. Also, I got this shirt from Anthropologie, if you guys are wondering. I think it's so cute. It's like a little, like a fairy vibe type of shirt. Which I think has been super cool and fun. So I'm just gonna set it. Everyone talks about how this is like amazing, so just trusting you guys. I mean, honestly, that's where like marketing is, like it's really at TikTok and YouTube. Like I feel like, right? I feel like that's where I'm getting my inspo from lately. I'm still gonna go over the top of it with my Airspun talc free, get the talc free, and just go a little bit under the eyes. Just gonna do a little, like look how, like you guys see my lips with that lip liner, and they just look like I have big lips, but they look big. And then I know, like I just feel like lip liner is so pretty, so I love putting it on, but my lips look huge. But I just naturally have big lips, so. But over the top of everything, just a very baby amount. We're gonna put the Bye Bye Pores blush by IT Cosmetics, and it's a soft, cool pink. Honestly, because it really just like diminishes my pores. I don't really feel like I need more color. I just like how it sits on the top and kind of just like locks everything in. And then I've been going over the top, but this is like too much blush, but this is the Pretty in Pink blush. It's also a baby pink. But the only thing with this is it's like not that pigmented and it's kind of cheap. I thought it'd be nicer, but I mean, I guess it's okay. And then I spray it with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. And then the last thing I would do is I would honestly, just to like make that powder not powdery, kind of just go over a little bit with like this pink because it's very transparent, and just kind of like tap it back to make it look like skin. And honestly, that is all I've been really doing for like an everyday kind of look. I hope I didn't crease my hair because I just blow dried it. Probably have to just go back over it, but is the final look. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching and kind of listening. Girl talk, bathroom chat. Hope that you also liked my little spiel about purity, boys, and all that other good stuff, Worth. And I hope you guys liked the little daytime look. As do. I can link all the products for you down below, but make sure to subscribe and let me know if you guys like these types of videos, making them and hanging out with you guys. So thank you so much for all the engagement recently, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!